Hello again, YouTube channel journal thing. I'm back for another video. What is the date today? It is the 8th of January 2017. And I've been running around lately like a crazy person. So much more than I have for the entire first year that I've lived in Australia. Somehow, I ended my first semester of university. And then Luna and I, my good friend Luna, we went to Manly on a ferry to commemorate the beginning of our break, that we both finished our semester and we were on the road to freedom for our break for a while. And I thought that my break was going to be pretty mellow, honestly. Like, I thought that I was going to start, I originally was going to start a road trip across Australia before I decided to get a job. And I was just expecting to either go on a solo trip around by myself, have some quiet, reflective moments on the road, and then maybe get a job and really just do my job and try to save some money up. So when I go abroad later, and it's good to have some money saved up. But instead, I've been using my Opal card. This is the Opal card I used to travel around in Australia on the trains and the buses and stuff. I've been using this so much more than I've used it like this whole year. Because I use it when I'm in school to take the bus to Penrith to get groceries and stuff, so I use it regularly anyway. But lately I've been going to the city, and since I'm living in the mountains are like a 2-hour train ride from the city. So if I want to go back to where I used to live, it's like halfway to that, like an hour, and if I want to go all the way to the city, it's like 2 hours. And I actually really enjoy train rides. I do. It's like pretty nice. And it's very hot today, like super hot. And I've been more motivated lately to learn Japanese than I have been all year of 2016. I did start my class, but I think meeting people who are actually from Japan and seeing how they aren't, like, I've met a lot of Japanese people who aren't fluent in English but can communicate rather well with me in English, and I can't really communicate with them in Japanese yet, but it really motivates me to see how good they are at speaking English to me, even though they're not perfect. So it makes me feel more comfortable trying to speak in Japanese and not be perfect. So I want to really try to get to that point where I can converse naturally, even if it sounds kind of stilted, but still making a point across, like getting the point across kind of thing. And yeah, so I'm thinking that in 2017, I'm going to create a couple of bucket list or New Year's resolutions, as they're so called. And one of them is going to be to create solid, achievable goals in my language learning, kind of how I did with my violin lessons. I made a lot of progress with my violin playing because I took a lesson every week and I practiced, and I just got into a habit where I started to really enjoy just playing. At first it was hard to play because when I would play at home I thought I would sound really bad, and then so I thought I'd sound bad, so I wouldn't really want to play, and then I ended up practicing more and more and more the better I got at playing. And I feel like it's the same way when you're learning a language, that when you're first starting to learn, it's really hard to say anything, it's really hard to really be motivated to learn and stuff because you don't really have the base structure to start from. And you really kind of need that to be able to use a language. You need to be able to have, the basic fundamental grammar and verbs and like a little bit of vocabulary if you want to actually say anything. So I really want to, learn basic kanji characters, like try to learn like 100. There's like 50,000 or something, but like I want to learn like 100 that are really, really common, and then I want to learn 100 vocabulary words that are really common, and maybe 100 verbs. But I'll do each of those separately, and then I'll try to get like good at saying, common things that I need to be able to say in my day-to-day life, because I've realized that it's hard because I've taken one class, but the one thing that is hard is that a lot of the sentences that I say on a regular basis as I speak, and I think how would you say that in Japanese? My sentences have multiple verbs in them, and they have like complicated ways of explaining things, and the only way that I'm going to be able to communicate in Japanese is if I can figure out how to say things that are useful to me, that I actually am going to use, not just like an arbitrary thing like the cat is sitting on the table or something like that, which a lot of, when you're learning a language, it's often very arbitrary stuff like that. Like, I want to actually learn stuff that I need to be able to say, but the problem with that is that I feel like a lot of the stuff I want to be able to say is kind of like more advanced stuff. Like, I was asking my teacher on my last class, or the second to last class, about how to say something, and she was like, oh, that's a little bit advanced, you'll probably learn that in a later class. But I'm like, but I need to know, if I want to say the thing I want to say, I have to be able to say that, and it's so frustrating. So I guess there's ways to go around that and say things in simpler ways. But yeah, so I'm going to start making YouTube videos in Japanese as well, because I think that's important. And the other New Year's resolution I have is to wake up early. And the good thing about this New Year's resolution is it's been a goal of mine for a while, like my Jolvie journal that you can see on this channel that I did earlier this year. One of my goals was to go to bed early, and I didn't do a good job of achieving that goal. Like, I wanted it, but I wasn't really sure how to do it. That was the problem. I mean, of course, if I wanted to do it and it was a struggle for me, the reason was that I was having a struggle with it, and that's why it was a goal of mine, is because I wanted to fix it, but I couldn't fix it. And the job that I got, the barbecue galore job, at this, like, it's like a barbecue shop that sells like barbecues and outdoor furniture and stuff here in Australia. The most random job, but it really has helped me get up early and develop more of a schedule in life, like get up early at a normal hour, and then be really active all day, so then when I come home I'm tired and I want to go to bed. I don't want to stay up because I'm too exhausted. And I think, like, because it was a Christmas casual job, it's kind of dying out, and I'm going to try to look for a new job. But I just want to keep that as one of my number one mental health / just life goals, is that it just feels so good to have your whole day ahead of you when you wake up. Because if you're waking up at like the middle of the day, you're like, crap, well, the day's half over. It's already like, if I go out now, it'll be really late before I can get home and stuff. So yeah, waking up early is going to be one of my major goals. And then just overall, just as I said in my time capsule video, just making a bunch of mistakes. Not stupid, like not just being completely stupid, but you know what I mean, just allowing myself to be vulnerable, to take risks, and to just learn from my mistakes, because I'm still a young person. It's a good time to make these mistakes. I can make mistakes now, and then I will learn from them, and then my life will be better as a result. I'll become more mature and more good and more, I don't know, worldly and wise, because that I've allowed that to happen. At least that's my hope, I guess. I hope that I'm not permanently scarred forever by making mistakes, but, I feel like most people make it through alive. The old people in this world, they've made a couple mistakes and they've made it out alive, so I think I'll be fine. But I don't just want to be like, whoa, tidal wave of confusion and mistakes. I also want to be able to learn how to not close myself off, but, be more of a mature person, be more in control of my emotions, just kind of be able to be vulnerable without being an open wound, if that makes sense. Like, to be able to feel feelings, but to not, and to be able to make errors, and to be able to just go off into the world and make mistakes and try new things and be an adventurous person, but to not, to just kind of be more thoughtful. Like, cognitive behavioral therapy is a tool people use to combat depression, where it's basically like you think about what you're thinking, and then you like think about the rational nature of what you're thinking. Like, is that a rational thought? Like, why am I thinking this thought? And I guess I just want to be able to think of my thoughts and my emotions more concretely. I don't want to turn into a robot. I still want to feel my feelings, but I don't want to be as volatile with them, or I don't want to let them hurt me. I want to be able to live and not be controlled by my emotions, if that makes any sense. But, a life without emotions and a life without letting your emotions get the better of you occasionally would be kind of a boring life. So I don't want to let that philosophy overtake me too much. But I've been inspired lately by some people to just think more about that, I guess. So yeah, waking up early, learning Japanese in a solid, planned way that I will develop goals and try to achieve them. Not just be like, I'm going to learn Japanese. No, I have to like make points on how I'm going to do that. And yeah, so wake up early, learn Japanese, and just think about my brain, think about my feelings, think about self-improvement and progress in my head. Because I think that's a good thing to do as an adult, to like just work on yourself and let that be a priority. So yeah, I'm rambling on, but that was my vlog of the day for the 8th of January 2017. See you next time.